What's up, everybody out there? How you doing? Welcome back to another episode of Peppy's Point of View. I'm your favorite host, your favorite R&B historian, your favorite music critic, Peppy. And as you know, the month of February is Black History Month, and I decided to celebrate it by looking up a list of the top Black female albums of all time. And you know how these lists can get, right? When we do a list of any kind, we have a tendency to leave off some very talented individuals who probably didn't get the recognition she or he deserved due to probably lack of promotion of the album, not having a great management team, maybe not on the right record label, whatever it could be, even ahead of his or her time, as some would say. Well, I was surprised to see that the ladies of En Vogue were not on this particular list that I was looking at. Their Funky Divas album that was released in 1992, as I've said in the previous video, the Tina Turner's video. That album in 1992 was probably one of the best albums of 1992, En Vogue's Funky Divas album. But anyway, today we are talking about Aaliyah. That's right. I think that's really and truly how you pronounce her name. It's Aaliyah. I know we say Aaliyah, but I think it's Aaliyah. And so we're talking about Aaliyah today. And, I've always wanted to cover Aaliyah. I actually wanted to cover Aaliyah a while back, especially when I had covered Tammy Terrell. And when I saw this list and I saw Aaliyah's name on the list, I was like, wait a minute, this is the perfect time for me to talk about Aaliyah. And so that's what I wanted to do today. I wanted to talk about Aaliyah. And as you already know over here, how I do it, right? I pretty much kind of do my own feel of things. With an album such as this, and being that I was around when the album came out, I just stopped for a minute and I kind of took notes about how I was feeling at the time when Aaliyah came out. And I honestly have to say, and I know this is going to take some people by surprise when I say she isn't my favorite singer. I know this is hard to believe, but I can only go by what I'm feeling, right? And what I'm thinking about the time she came out. It wasn't that Aaliyah was my favorite singer. She was not at all. She does have a great voice, but I must say that back and forth single was just a great single. It was a great single, and I loved it. And then I got around to listening to the album, actually having the album, owning the Age Ain't Nothing But a Number album. And then I got around to listening to it, and I liked more songs on the album. And then I stopped with my Aaliyah's being an Aaliyah fan. That's right. I know this is going to take a lot of people, by surprise, but I am not an Aaliyah's fan. And this has nothing to do with any of the controversies surrounding her relationship between her and R. Kelly or anything like that. I just wasn't a fan. I'm just not a fan of her music. Um, and I think it's also had a lot to do with not just this album, because I do like this album. So it's definitely not this album. I just think for me personally, I've never been a fan of Missy's and Timberland's production style. I'm just not. And so I think that that's one of those things that kind of just made me not, jump on the Aaliyah's bandwagon after this album. Love this album, but then I'm like, okay, you've kind of lost me, Aaliyah. I know everybody's still, loving on you and grooving to your music and all of that. And I'm not saying that your songs like what is it, Rock the Boat, and what is I think there's a song probably called More Than a Woman. You see, I can't even remember all of her songs after that. I just know I didn't care too much for it. And it has a lot to do with the production. style that she went to. I have to honestly say, if R. Kelly produced her second album and it felt right into the the groove of this album, then I probably would be a fan of the second album. Or if she stayed in the same production style as her first album, I probably would like her more. But no, sorry, it's just my spiel. Don't dislike me. It's not that big of a deal. I'm not taking anything away from Aaliyah uh, singing, because we're going to get into the album in this reviews, and I'm here to tell you I really do like her voice on some songs. But we're going to talk about that. Stick around for that definitely. But let's just go ahead on and jump right into the history of the album and what I think about the album as a whole. So Age Ain't Nothing But a Number is a debut studio album by American singer Aaliyah. It was released on May 24th, 1994 by Blackground Records and Jive Records. After being signed by her uncle Barry Hankerson, Aaliyah was introduced to recording artist and producer R. Kelly. He became her mentor as well as the lead songwriter and producer of the album. The duo recorded the album at the Chicago Recording Company in Chicago periodically from January 1993 all the way up into 1994. The album produced two U.S. Billboard Hot 100 Top 10 singles back and forth, and a cover of the 1976 Isley Brothers hit At Your Best You Are Loved. Both singles were certified gold by the RIAA. The title track was released as the third and final U.S. single, while Down with the Click and The Thing I Like were released as the fourth and fifth singles, respectively, in the UK. Aaliyah reportedly developed a friendship with R. Kelly during the recording of her debut album. As she recalled to Vibe magazine in 1994, she and Kelly would go watch a movie and go eat. And when she got tired and would then come back and work. She described their relationship as being rather close. There was speculation about a secret marriage, allegedly, with the release of Age Ain't Nothing But a Number amidst the adult content that Kelly had written for Aaliyah. Vibe magazine later revealed a marriage certificate that listed the couple married on August the 31st, 1994, in Rosemount, Illinois. Aaliyah, who was 15 at the time, was listed as 18 on the certificate. The illegal marriage was annulled in February 1995 by her parents. All right. The pair continued to deny marriage allegations, stating that the certificate was a forgery. It was speculated that Aaliyah wedded Kelly without her parents' knowledge, and in December 1994, Aaliyah told the Sun Times that she and Kelly were close, and people took it the wrong way. I guess I need to put up my alleged button up here because this is all alleged and speculated. I don't care if it is the truth. You know what I'm saying? And everybody said, no, this was the truth. It came out as being truth. I don't know that. To me, it's alleged. So I'm going to stick with everything being alleged over here. Uh, Age Ain't Nothing But a Number is the only Aaliyah album that Kelly produced for. In May of 1997, Aaliyah filed suit in Cook County seeking to have all records of the marriage expunged because she was not old enough under the state law to get married without her parents' consent. Aaliyah admitted in court documents that she had lied about her age. She reportedly cut off all professional and personal ties with Kelly and ceased having contact with him. Aaliyah avoided answering questions regarding Kelly following the professional split and responded no when asked if she would ever work with him again. In 2014, Joe Mo Hankerson stated that Aaliyah got villainized within the music industry over the controversy and expressed confusion over why they were upset with Aaliyah given her age at the time. Kelly would have other allegations made about him regarding underage girls in the years following her death, and his marriage to Aaliyah was used to evidence his involvement with them. He has often refused to discuss his relationship with her citing her death in 2004. He stated that was a whole other situation, a whole other time. It was a whole other thing. And I'm sure that people also know that. In 2016, Kelly said that he was in love with Aaliyah as he was with anybody else. However, the allegations have been said to have done little to taint Aaliyah's image or prevent her from becoming a reliable 90s hitmaker with viable sidelines in movies and in modeling. Yeah, yeah, I understand. I know where you guys are going. you know, let's just stop right here and let's kind of go back to what I was talking about in the beginning with Aaliyah and her voice, so on and so forth. When I went, as I was going, listening to this entire album, this is my first time listening to the entire album. As I said before, I had this album, I had the single back and forth. Um, and to be quite honest with you, listening to this album for the first time, I am still not moved by it. Um, one of the things that I'm not moved by is the overall just production of the album. I'm just not moved by it. I think at the time, it sounds like to me that R. Kelly probably was still trying to find his voice, in music, his style. It seemed like, he was, really honing his skills. I think they were being honed in a great direction. This album is an album from I can hit the play button from the beginning and then listen to it all throughout the album. I don't cringe at all when I listen to this album or anything like that. I think that this album got a lot of what's the word I want to talk about? Fanfare, because number one, it was R. Kelly. This is just me personally, my point of view, right? It's Pepe's point of view. I think that this album just got a lot of attention because it was R. Kelly, and we was just really digging R. Kelly at the time. One thing that we cannot forget about music at this time is that we're talking about people who would make cameo appearances in videos as well as uh, with songs. So I recall when this video first came out, and the fact that I saw R. Kelly was just enough for me to like the song. Period. I was like, man, yeah, R. Kelly, he has this new song out with this girl, and y'all. I mean, I really like the song. I'm really liking her. I'm digging her vibe. I'm digging everything about Aaliyah. I'm liking her too. I'm liking this song. Oh man, did y'all see R. Kelly? So on and so forth. So I think it was a good buzz creator. Creator. Yeah, that's right. Great buzz creator at the time. Just listening, just thinking back about my first, interaction with this video, and that's the thing that I was thinking. And then on top of that, the song was good. I'm not going to say I wouldn't like the song if R. Kelly wasn't in it. No, not at all, because his cameo appearance was very brief. But I'm just talking about the fact that you have somebody such as an R. Kelly do a cameo appearance, and it's the same thing. It's kind of like, oh, it's cool to see, that R. Kelly has a protege. I'm only going down this route because I have a video when I was discussing Shirley Murdoch, as we lay Shirley Murdoch back in the mid 80s, when she came out and she was on Zapp and Rogers' Computer Love, and everybody was like, y'all know that girl, who's singing on Zapp and Rogers' Computer Love? Well, she has a new song out. It's called As We Lay, and we were able to measure to it. And I think that that's one of the things that just gives add credibility, is when you're being introduced by another artist. It's just a tried and true, successful marketing strategy. It's just what it is. You just can't deny that. And to say that, I know for some people, to hear that, you think, oh, you're taking away Aaliyah's credibility. No, I'm not. It's just what it is. Another thing that I thought about when I was listening to this album and owning a copy of Aaliyah's Back and Forth single, I'm thinking about, how awesome it was to own the single, to go out into the record stores and you actually, buy the single, waiting on the album to come out. And sometimes, this was a time, because it's 1993, 1994. So this is definitely the time for me where I have money. to go to the record store. Now, I'm familiar. There's a record store. I can go to a record store. I don't have to listen to the radio and put my cassette into the radio and hit, record. Like there's a record store out there with these songs in it, and I can go to the record store. And guess what? These singles cost like $1, $2 tops, right? So man, I can go in and I can ask my mom for like $10 and I can come out with about 5 singles, so cassette singles. So that was really good for me. And so Aaliyah was one of those that I'm like, okay, do I want to buy the album? And I said, well, man, I can't buy the album right now. I got $10. If I buy the album, I won't have any money left. But not only that, what if I don't like the album? So I better buy a couple of more singles of other artists before I buy the album. And if I get more money, I could, buy the album eventually. And so that's eventually what happened with me. Eventually, I got enough money up that I could actually purchase the album. And that's what I did. And I must say, as I said before, I just really didn't care too much for it. So let's jump right into that. I think this is a great place to start with the album. So let's talk about the album real quick. I got about 15 minutes, a good 15 minutes to talk to you guys. I think I can wrap it up in 15 minutes. And so the first song on the album, the intro, I didn't like it, and it's hard to believe that I had this album and I don't remember the intro. I don't, and I understand why now. I don't remember the intro. It's not an intro that I just like. I have liked all the intros I've heard uh, that I covered on, this channel. But I don't like this intro. I see what they're trying to do, trying to sing, and we ain't gonna say trying to sing and showing off your, your vocal capabilities and all of that. I just felt like it was just, nah, nah I don't need it, and I was done with it. I just continued to listen to it, but I was like done. I don't care too much for the intro. Then the next single, "Throw Your Hands Up." I don't recall listening to this song either, but it's definitely typical of the era. I like that there isn't a lot of clutter on this track. I don't know if you guys remember, those of you who are watching it and you are definitely, let's just say, in your late 40s and upwards, then you probably remember the time between, I don't know, I'm going to say maybe 91, but definitely 92, 93, 94, 95. I'm not going to say 96. I'm going to say between 92, 93, 94, and 95. So between 92 and 95, there was this sound that I can't quite call what that sound is. I'm going to find out one day what that sound is. I don't know what it is. It could be New Jack Swing. I'm going to still call it the New Jack Swing sound. I'd be safe to say that I still think the New Jack Swing sound was kind of being developed. The only people that I could think of, thinking of particular producers right now that is sticking out in my head, but I can't recall. I think like Dave Jam. Is it Dave Hall Jam? He's one of the guys. But I'm thinking about uh, albums such as Changing Faces. So whoever those guys are who produced Changing Faces albums, that first album by Changing Faces. Whoever those guys are, and I think it's Dave Hall. I think Dave Hall is one of those guys. Devontae Swing, so on and so forth. And of course, we know R. Kelly is over there. I'm thinking about that sound. Uh, you get a lot of that between 1992 through 1995. So if you want to call it again New Jack Swing, by all means, go ahead on and call it New Jack Swing. But where I was going with this is that that's what I get when I hear this single. Throw your hands up. I'm thinking about that time, that era of music, and that sound can be very cluttered to me. Sometimes I don't care a lot too much for the New Jack Swing sound. As I said, the production is too cluttered. And what I like about this song, "Throw Your Hands Up," it's not a lot of clutter on this track. And that's the reason why I can listen to this track from beginning to the end. I let it play all the way through because of that. Like it was just a very simple track. He didn't try to do a lot, with it from a production style. And not only that, listening to this song, I don't know if you guys thought about this whenever you have heard this song, throw your hands up. But I thought a lot about crisscross. Yes, that crisscross. Crisscross will make you jump, jump. That crisscross. I was like, man, this giving me a crisscross feel. Then the next single, of course, is Back and Forth. As I said before, I, of course, I think, we just love R. Kelly. We loved R. Kelly at the time, and it's a great song. As I said before, it's about the appearance. And as I am listening to the song, I'm saying to myself, like, wait a minute, who came first? Because I'm looking at the album cover, right? And if you look at the album cover, you see Aaliyah there, and who do you immediately think of when you see this album cover? And if you thought, no, no, not Mary J. Blige, but that gives you a feel of a Mary J. Blige, possibly. But I wasn't thinking Mary J. Blige. But now that I'm looking at this, I'm thinking Mary J. Blige. But at first, I wasn't thinking Mary J. Blige. You know who I was thinking? I was thinking of Escape, Candy Burris. I was saying to myself, this is straight up Escape. And I'm saying, but wait a minute. I think Aaliyah came first, right? Aaliyah came out before Escape. So it's possible to say that Escape was biting off of Aaliyah. But then some people would say, well, Aaliyah, in the time frame she came out after Mary J. Blige. So maybe, Aaliyah is copying the Mary J. Blige style, right? But there was also another group that came out with this style that, don't get talked about a lot in 1991, and that was the girl group Ex Girlfriend. They had this style as well, and so this style of for female artists at the time definitely was trying to find its way or make its way through with a particular, ooh, excuse me, you guys, a singing style, an image. This is like the image that was trying to be copied. So you have that in vogue image that was trying to be copied with certain girl groups, right? And now you have this image, that Mary J. Blige image, that's trying to be, copied by other female artists. I was about to say, what's her name? Miss Chalet. I could go back to Miss Chalet, but Miss Chalet, not quite so. I think Miss Chalet still had a more softer feminine edge to her that was still a tad bit kind of masculine, but not so masculine that she just got rid of her femininity. And in this case, you can definitely tell there was nothing feminine about Aaliyah, as far as her style is concerned. Uh, you know, and there you have it. We're going to move right along from that. Hopefully, I didn't go off too much, but I definitely thought of Escape. Hmm. Another thing that I thought of that I don't know if you guys thought about when you listened to Back and Forth, but another artist I thought about too was Brandy. And that's why I was like, wait a minute, Brandy, Escape? What we have going on here with Aaliyah? Is it Brandy? Is it Escape? Which one is it? And of course, I have to say that Brandy came out right after Aaliyah, if I'm not mistaken. Or was it a Brandy? I'm not sure, but of course, Brandy definitely, was, out at the time maybe the album was released. What was the release date again? I think I said the release date was May 24th, 1994 was Aaliyah's debut release, and Brandy's was also in 1994. Brandy album was released September. So it was after. So is it safe to say, and this is just me, is it safe to say that this track, Back and Forth, was that Brandy's I Want to Be Down and Aaliyah's Back and Forth was a copy of Aaliyah's Back and Forth? I mean, it's safe to say, I don't think I would be wrong to say that. Then the next single, Age Ain't Nothing But a Number, or the next song on the album, Age Ain't Nothing But a Number. Also, too sorry if there's a lot of feedback here. I'm trying to work with this, mic here. Age ain't nothing but a number. And I think when I hear this song, I definitely think of Mary J. Blige. I don't really like to bring up Mary J. Blige's name, just in general. There's a whole lot of reasons why I'm not thinking of, I don't care to, bring up Mary J. Blige's name. But I think it's safe to say is this Mary J. Blige? I just think of Mary J. Blige when I hear this song. And who would have thought, allegedly, that when it comes to Aaliyah, age ain't nothing but a number. This was definitely, probably, according to publications, a true, theme between Aaliyah and R. Kelly. Down with the clique or down with the click. R. Kelly on this track sounds a lot like Dr. Dre, don't you think? When I was hearing this, I'm like, this is Dr. Dre. And I love this song, and I love Aaliyah's voice. I definitely love Aaliyah's voice on this track. I couldn't help but to think of Dr. Dre. And then the song "At Your Best, You Are Loved." I have to tell you guys something. I don't like this song. Even in the Isleys Brothers catalog, I skip it. It's just this song is just so boring to me. It's just so boring, and it like when I hear it, it just puts me to sleep. It does. I'm like, oh gosh, like I don't know. It reminds me of the song what's it called? Wind Beneath My Wings. You never know that you're my hero. That song, like I don't like that song. It's sappy. And this is another song. I'm like, come on now. I just don't care too much for it. It's something about it I just don't like. I just don't like the song. As I said, not even in the Isley Brothers catalog. But I think she did a good job of recapturing the emotions of this song. And when I thought about it, I said, wait a minute. Hold on. At your best, you are love. She captured, like I said, the emotion, the essence of this song that the Isley Brothers did. And then I thought about Whitney Houston. I was like, okay, she and Whitney Houston can definitely do justice for, our an Isley Brothers track. The next song, No One Knows How to Love Me Like You Do. Sounds good. And it's so weird that I thought about Whitney Houston on At Your Best You Are Loved, just, how she approached it. I'm saying to myself, No One Knows How to Love Me Like You Do is definitely a Whitney Houston song. Just go back and listen to this song and tell me if you don't think Whitney Houston. And I'm talking about the actual, her vocal approach to it. It definitely gives me Whitney Houston vibe. I think that if this song was presented to Whitney Houston, she probably would sing it. If she heard the demo, the way Aaliyah is approaching this song, I would think she would at least give it some consideration. I know some people would say that, maybe this is not a song that was good for her image wise, but you also have to keep in mind that Whitney Houston is definitely trying to urbanize, if you will, her sound, her image. And so in 1994, 1993, she probably would consider singing this song. She probably would. Now, let's talk about the rest of the album. The rest of the album, I'm not going to say goes downhill. I just don't care too much for any more of the songs. And I think that this is the reason why I don't know much about this album like I do other albums. Like, I had it, but my go to songs would definitely have been Back and Forward. And No One Knows How to Love Me Like You Do would be my go to songs on this album. I maybe age ain't nothing but a number. But after that, I'm just done with the album. Two songs in, I'm done. I don't need to listen to this album uh anymore. As I said, I'm so into you. It's my first time hearing the song. It's not a bad song. I don't, but I'm not going to skip the song. I'm gonna listen to it. Great song. I'm not going to skip it. The same thing with Street Thing. Street Thing. Uh, I will say, as I said in the beginning, I'm kind of get in the feel that R. Kelly is probably trying to find his way as a producer, singer, and songwriter. And and another thing I like about this album is that it does not stream R. Kelly. You know, in the future, what you're going to get with R. Kelly is that you're going to definitely know this is R. Kelly. You're just going to know it, and this is going to be an R. Kelly. Someone's going to bite off his style or whatever. I give you a prime example. I don't feel, this is me personally, I don't feel like these songs are R. Kelly rejects, songs that did not make his album, and so that it's like, okay, well, this song didn't make my album. Let me, kind of produce it on you, cut it on you, and see, how it goes. Now, for sure, there's an Isley Brothers album by R. Kelly, produced entirely, I think, by R. Kelly, called Body Kiss. I heard that album once and I was like, oh my gosh, these just seem like to me R. Kelly rejects. I don't think that R. Kelly was in the studio recording these songs from scratch. I just think it was more like, hey, what you got? Well, these are songs that didn't make my album. What do you think? And I think at the time, people liked R. Kelly so much in his music and his sound. I'm pretty sure, at the time the Isley Brothers was like, oh yeah, man, I liked it. It's good. And they, it's just what it was. That's how I feel. But again, Street Thing is a song that I probably wouldn't skip. I wouldn't skip it, but it wouldn't be my go-to. Young Nation, when I hear this song, I'm reminded again of Whitney Houston. I don't care for much for the song Young Nation, but again, her approach, her vocal approach, cries out streams Whitney Houston. Her vocal approach, love it. Again, track 11, Old School. Uh, as I said, I think it's safe to say that R. Kelly again is finding his voice, as a singer songwriter and producer, and he obviously, sampled the Isley Brothers Between the Sheets, Old School, and I and the name of the song is called Old School, so why not, sample an old school, song that everybody loves, and of course the last song on the album, I'm Down. As I said, overall in general, we're at the 32 mark, and I can just sum it up by simply saying, yeah, Aaliyah, it's a very popular album. I think that it definitely deserves to be on the list. I don't think people put it on the list just out of, sympathy for, Aaliyah's, history. She no longer being here. The controversy around that, the controversy around her being allegedly married to, R. Kelly. I don't think it's that at all. I really truly do think that this was just a very popular album. It was definitely popping and hitting at the time, and it's just a great album, to have had in your collection. That is definitely, true in the case, but it's not, yeah, it's not what it all is made out to be to me either. Especially with, for me, just really liking two songs on the album. Like, I got to have these two songs. Nah, it is what it is. So on that note, I thank you guys for hanging out with me. If you made it this far, I think it's only appropriate for me to ask you to hit the like button, the subscribe button, the share button, and all of that. Go ahead on and do it. Thank you for hanging out with me. I would love for you to stick around. Thank you guys so much for, tuning in over here. My motto is very simple. Don't forget, we over here, we put our behinds where our hearts desires to be. Whenever I leave my mother's presence, she always says to me, baby, remember I love you, but God loves you best. I look forward to seeing you next video. And until then, you should know what to do by now. Take care of you. All right.